What is going on, everyone? Semi-original guy here, aka Mr. Cannon from Intensifying, bringing you a brand new thing today. Brand new thing. Little bit different, little bit the same. As you guys know, I am desperately trying to do a push to get Clone Andy added to Advanced Wars by Web, since he is a playable CEO in the Advanced Wars 1+2 reboot camp. I want him in Advanced Wars because he's cool, he's edgy, and everybody likes that combination. Alright, so a little while ago, I was just chatting in the Discord, and then I happened to get a message from JJ Empire 64. He's one of the moderators on Advanced Wars by Web, and he was saying that he wants to get back into the Global League, and he wanted to do a Clone Andy test with me to get himself warmed up for the competition. So, me being myself, I was like, absolutely, let's do this. Let's get Clone Andy in there to see what happens. So, he decided he wanted to go Adder, and as you guys know, I was going Clone Andy for this one, folks. Going for Clone Andy. And this one is going to be a little bit different, because in the last test we did, I actually played with Overcharge. For those of you that don't know what Overcharge is, Clone Andy actually has a 3-star power, and he has no ability to charge past that point. So in the last test, I was charging past that point, and I was able to use another co-power like consecutively, back to back. This time, we're not going to be able to do that. So we are going to be playing the rule set where if I use my co-power, I have to reset my bar to 0. Now you can't manually do that, but you can calculate it to power charge. So you guys will see that a little bit later on. So that's what we're going to try to do today. We're playing up Page Avenue. I think this is a pretty good Andy map, to be completely honest. If you guys take a look at this map, as you can see, we do have a comm tower right here. However, it is actually blocked off by the pipe seam. So if you want access to the comm tower, you have to destroy the pipe seam. Now that takes at least 2 to 3 days, depending on how you go about it. You know, you can go with artillery, you can go with copters, you can build a bomber, you can build a medium tank, you know, you can just blast your way through, but it takes time. And that time will take you away from the front lines in the middle. Now, as you can see here, pretty much directly down the center line here, contested areas with an HQ with a black boat on it. So, pretty interesting stuff, but highly contested, and this map is... It's a pretty stally map, not gonna lie. You know, there's a lot of stall potential, but there's also a lot of potential for very, very early aggression and breaking your opponent's line. So, my opponent, JJ, has picked Adder for this one. As you guys know, Adder will get that +1 movement whenever he uses co-power, +2 movement whenever he uses his super co-power. Very, very spammable co-power. Very, 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 very good when it comes to T4. He's often considered like, you know, like the best T4 CEO. If he actually is, you know, it's very subjective to the map, but often enough, Adder is at least either number 1 or number 2. Straight down the line. But Clone Andy, guys, that's who I am. Clone Andy. So all I got access to is Hyper Repair, which will heal you 2 HP globally. That's it. That's it. That's all it does. It'll give you a firepower bonus of like 10% and defense bonus as per the rules of Advanced Wars whenever you use your powers. But that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got going for me. So we're going to see how it goes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this one, and we'll see what happened in Page Avenue. Alright, so day 1, you guys can see here, standard infantry builds. You gotta get the infantry on the field, folks. Number 1 priority all the time, every time, all day, every day. That's what you gotta do. Alright, day 2, boom, capping the base, capping the neutral property, sending my infantry forward. Now, I think JJ and I both realize the importance of the first infantry move up here. Now, some people will go back, cap this property, which is perfectly fine. You know, you get some income early, but I think the most important thing is going up and capping this property right here. Definitely number 1 priority here. This property is incredibly contested later on, and if you leave it for too long, the enemy is able to get here very, very quickly. As you guys can see here, we have 1, 2, 3 movements before we can interrupt that. So the faster we get that property, the better, in my opinion, and I think in JJ's opinion too, because he definitely is gonna be going for that. You know, he's going for it. He's doing it. He's getting her. He's getting her done. Adder whipping along, grabbing a couple more properties, going for that neutral airport now as well. I think neutral airport is pretty important in this map as well. Air units tend to be like very powerful here. Whether it's like the make or break of the map, it's very subjective. It really just depends on the CEO you're playing. You know, if you're playing on like a higher tier and you got access to, let's say, like Max or something, you know, the airports are pretty important. You do get a lot of firepower out of those guys, especially if you're Max. You know, you got 120, but these guys are all base firepower for this one. If we do manage to capture the comp tower, then we do have 110 firepower, but 110 firepower is still very difficult to get a 2-hit KO. It's not guaranteed 2-hit KOs. I believe that you have a percentage, like a chance to 2-hit something on a city, but it's you got to be lucky. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to luck, or you can always do the old-fashioned chip damage method, you know, where you send in an infantry, do a little bit of damage to the unit, and then kablam, I'll take him out, no problem whatsoever. Now, whether or not we're going to see that is another story. Alright, so carrying on with the game, you know, going for the airport now. I built a tank. I built a tank out of here as mirror to this tank here. I was considering maybe going a tank down here and pushing down this side, but I think it's way more valuable to actually get a tank in the mid. Slightly moved my thing here. Hopefully it's fine. Yeah, way more important to get a tank in the mid. Because you get a tank in the mid, then the tank can go either down here or up here and reinforce like other side, right? So mid tank, I think, is the best choice. Tanks out of your weak side up here is also not a bad choice because you got two bases over here. They're gonna be rushing you. They're gonna be rushing you hard. So you do got to build some units up here. You got the airport defending this side too, which is like a 2-day reinforce to the front line. This one's like a 2-day reinforce to the front line as well. Potentially, if your opponent overextends, it is 1-day reinforcement. But really just depends on if they do that or not. Now, I don't think JJ is going to do that because JJ is actually a very good player. He's he hasn't played Global League in a while, but he was 1200 before 1200 was normal. So you know, it's he's good. He's good. He's got a very good win rate. So I know I got my my work cut out for me for this one. All right, so capping the properties, doing the tank chains. Now, this is kind of interesting, you know, he's got a little bit of a different strategy than me right now. I'm sitting up here, I don't really know what I'm doing, I'm kind of just chilling out, but he's got, like, kind of a plan here, you know, he's doing threats on 2 properties here, so this guy could cap this one, this guy could cap this one, this guy could cap this one right here, so probably the smart choice, I would say, out of all these options. This infantry goes up here, caps this, and this tank goes, like, maybe here or something to threaten the... or to protect it, you know, not really threaten anything, but to put the fear of God in me more than anything. So, you know, he sits there, he protects this area, my guy would be forced to sit here, protect this area, then we'd be in a little bit of a stalemate, which is kind of fortunate for Clone Andy. You know, you do kind of want to get that stalemate going. Clone Andy definitely survives a lot better with the stalemate potential. All right, so let's see what comes next here. Okay, yeah, that's very good. Okay, so tank here, very good. It's kind of what I figured. It's like kind of the best spot for it, to be completely honest. I mean, you're able to put pressure up here and put pressure down here. So it really just depends on what I do with this tank right here, right? So if I move the tank too far forward, the tank's going to come down, injure this area. If I move the tank too far up, it's going to come down here and threaten this area. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. You know, all in all, it's a good move. So we're going to go ahead and try to cap some properties. My South infantry are a little bit slow. Not quite getting out there too quickly, but we are putting a lot of pressure on this property right here. I do believe that we have enough units here in order to get the property, but interrupts are definitely possible. JJ's about to capture this property and this property. If he manages to do that, which he actually is, you know, there's pretty much no contest with capping those. So we'll just cap those. We'll get that out of the way here. But this is like a potential like 2-shot onto any capping infantry on that property too. Maybe even more too, because this infantry could potentially move up, it's pretty risky for it to move up like too forward, but I mean, it could go here, you know, and that would threaten like a 3-hit on that guy. Tanks right here too, we don't really want to be messing with that guy, so our tanks are kind of locked into a defensive position at the moment. Not really going to be able to go too far or too fast. They kind of just have to sit around and just look busy. That's the plan. That's the plan. They're just gonna sit around and look busy. All right, JJ coming in with an artillery. Artillery, I think, it's an okay move. I wouldn't necessarily say it's bad. No, I believe the artillery's purpose is to actually dislodge the black boat right here, which is good. If you do manage to dislodge the black boat, then you have the potential of capping the HQ. And as you guys know, capping an HQ, automatic win condition. So if you ever do manage to get that HQ, I would suggest to cap it. Alright, I also built an artillery too, so that's kind of my plan. I do want to use it to hopefully dislodge the HQ, but I also built it because of the threat of this right here. So I wasn't able to get to this property too quickly. So I have a bunch of infantry in position to actually start the cap, but I don't have a lot of backup. So the artillery is here just to guard this property so he doesn't go on it first. That's really the plan that I had for this guy. Aside from that, you know, I'm just building massive amounts of tanks in the south. That's #1 priority here. Now, to avoid getting an unnecessary hit and moving my infantry back here, you know, it is possible this infantry can move up and attack. I mean, it's not advisable, you know, but it's possible, so I'm not letting that happen. Now, this position is fine because we still block this tile here and we covered this tile right here. So we got, yeah, and if he did attack from here, I mean, I got 2 infantry, 4 infantry, 5 infantry. I got a lot of infantry, you know, it's perfectly fine. It's pretty defended. So if JJ was going to go up and attack, any attack that he would do right now would just get blasted away. So, yeah, it's not too bad. Even if he went in with the tanks right now, too, to attack, 3 tanks right here versus 2 tanks right here. Now, it is possible he could bring this tank down here, but this tank is going to be needed up here. Now, because I built the tank right here and the artillery right here, he's going to need firepower up here in order to contend with this. So, yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at on day 9 right now, folks. That's about it. Alright. Tanks, anti-air. So JJ coming in with the early anti-air here. I wouldn't necessarily say it's early, but like day 9 anti-air. It's like, it's common. It's pretty much when you get the anti-air out. Shutting down the air purchases, you know. Not going to be able to build battle cups safely, at least at this point. So, good anti-air. I think it's good. It's a good buy. Alright, so this turn I don't really do too much. So I noticed that he moves his tanks in the mid. Right? So I wanted to cover this guy. So I got 2 tanks here to cover this guy. I got this tank here that's potentially moving up here. Now this tank doesn't cover this property, but this one and this one, they do cover this property here. So if he's going to go up and interrupt this cap, which he can do, if he wants the full kill on it, he's going to have to use 3 infantry. In order to do so, he would end up losing 3 infantry in the trade, so not really advisable to do it. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to just interrupt it, but I don't know. It's very risky because I have tanks right here, right? So these tanks could potentially move up here. So interrupting it would probably just result in the loss of a unit, more or less. So it's kind of risky, kind of risky indeed. When you're playing against Clone Andy, you want to get, well, Andy in general, but Clone Andy for this this instance, you want to get KOs, right? So if you have an opportunity to go up and smack a unit and finish it off, way more valuable than leaving it alive. Clone Andy is going to be able to go back and heal. Now, one thing that's like kind of cool about Clone Andy, so he has, as you guys know, hyper repair, right? Plus 2 HP, right? There is actually a possibility for like a really neat thing to happen where you pull back your units, you put it on a city to get healed, and then you pop hyper repair like the turn afterwards. Then that unit gets healed tactically by 4 HP in 1 turn instead of just 2. So while that might seem pretty obvious to some people, it's definitely something that can happen and it can catch people off guard. So definitely do gotta watch out for that. Alright, so Bloom moving in with the tanky boy. Very, very risky shot considering we have a lot of tank presence up here. Now I do this because I don't want my infantry to get injured. Now I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I can like go up and attack this guy with an infantry, but if I do that, I'm probably gonna lose an infantry. Do I want to lose an infantry on the weak side? Probably not. So, let's get rid of that. There we go. Okay. So, move the artillery in position to block the tank. Cover the tank. So now if he comes in with tanks, he could potentially, well, very easily he can get a 2-shot on this guy. Right? But that 2-shot will result in the death of like 2 tanks, because I could easily bring these guys up here, cover this area here. But we'll see what I do. But we do manage to cap all properties on the map minus the comm towers. So now the income is 2121. And I think we're both feeling pretty good about that. I mean, he's probably feeling less good about that because he does want to be ahead in income, but I want to be at least equal. I mean, as you guys know, pretty used to fighting on the deficit, so if I get to the point where I have equal income, I'm pretty happy about that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling good, feeling pretty good about that. Alright, so infantry goes up and attacks this infantry, sacrificing itself. I'm not really quite sure what the purpose of that was necessarily, but it happened. I feel like this infantry would have been far more valuable just going back and being an additional blocker like later on. I don't think you necessarily need to sacrifice the infantry. I mean, it only did 1 damage too, which is unfortunate, but hey, you know, that's what happened. That's where we're at, so it's okay. 30 to 29 units right now. JJ's got a little bit more income right now, but it's my turn, so I'm about to just plump a whole bunch of dollars into that number right there. So, alrighty, got an anti-air because he built a copter. You know, as you guys remember from my last video, if you watched it, I was severely lacking in anti-air, so you know, building an anti-air, gotta get it on the field. That's super important, guys. All right, battlecopter moving in, and it looks like he's going in to do an attack here. Now this isn't necessarily a bad move as adder, although attacking like this much right here is a little bit risky. So doing the 1 attack here I can really get behind, because one thing you do want to do, especially when it comes to a stall game like this, is if you have like a unit count advantage on one side, you definitely want to be chipping apart the frontline infantry just a little bit. Whereas you're able to go in, let's say, with your super or your co-power like afterwards and get like a clean break. Because at the moment, the only thing that could really do a clean break would be the anti-air, right? The anti-air could potentially move in and one-shot like any infantry on like a road, but it wouldn't be able to. It might be able to one-shot an infantry on a plane, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I think the infantry would survive, but a road is definitely a guaranteed kill. But chipping apart the front line is a good idea. Definitely want to be doing that. Lots and lots of tanks on the field here, folks. So JJ is up to 12 tanks on the field. I'm up to 9. It's looking dicey. And this is like, okay, so it's not like a bad attack. Not finishing off the artillery, though, is kind of not great in my opinion. If we managed to KO the artillery, it would be great, but we don't. So this kind of leaves JJ open for an attack right here. So it's not too bad. So yeah, so tank's able to roam around, and we managed to get a 2-hit on that guy because he's on a road, so no problem there. I could have brought this guy back to get a heal, but I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more forward, just so it would be able to block or add threat to a few more squares, right? And I kind of anticipated possibly this tank might be KO'd, so I wanted just these 3 squares, or these 4 squares, like, covered. So even if it's like a 5 HP artillery, like, it's still okay. You know, it's not bad. It's not bad. Not bad. He's feeling okay. Alright, but I don't go in any more than that. You know, I just do a little bit of attacks, and that's it. In hindsight, though, I probably should have just brought this guy back. But I think just having him there and having the additional threat is enough to kind of ward off any potential attacks here. Because he could move in, could attack 2 guys, possibly 3 if he moves in with the anti-air. So anti-air can move in, take this guy out, infantry could take this guy out, and tanks could get like a 2-shot on this guy. We could probably get a big hit on this guy here. Actually, this guy would move here, get a big shot, and then we could get like 2 additional shots, but we are dealing with Clone Andy, and we have tank coverage on some things here, so, and a battlecopter, so maybe a full push wouldn't really be super good at that point, but now it's JJ's turn, right? So JJ adder super close to co-power here, so we're gonna see what JJ could do with that. Alright, so we're formulating the death ball. Formulating the death ball. This is a big old chunk of units right here, guys. This is like a fatty hunk of units. Almost looks like if it was all connected, could almost be a question mark, you know. I don't know, but maybe it's just a snake. Maybe this is like the body of the snake, and this is like the cobra head up here. You know, I could kind of see that. This is like, I'm gonna dub this the cobra position for Adder. He's going full cobra. All right, so I just respond by also stalling because I don't want to push into that yet, at least. And we get classy up in here, folks. We're building the medium tank. As you guys know, Andy loves his medium tanks. They are classy. And what's the best thing about a classy medium tank is they heal, as Andy, you know. The medium tank just goes up, you know, it takes a couple shots and then boom, it gets healed. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It's precisely what you want in life is more classy medium tanks. And JJ responds with a classy medium tank, so also very nice. Also very nice indeed. And this death ball is just looking hecka dangerous right now, especially as Adder, right? So Adder +1 movement and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And a battlecopter and an anti-air. So that's like, what is that, like 15? 15 potential vehicle strikes and lots of potential for infantry breaks. Now these injured infantry right here are super dangerous. As you guys know, injured infantry, if you keep them alive, one of the most valuable things that they can do, aside from just being a wall, is being a wall breaker. So you send those infantry in to attack one specific part on the map. Let's say you pop your power, right? And you send them right here onto the road, and you go like pop, pop, pop. So this is a 2 HP, so you pop that, heal this guy up to 2 HP, pop that guy again. All of a sudden this guy's sitting down at 5, right? Then you have an easy 1 infantry come up and pop it again, and then boom, you have a wall break right there. You have potential to get in. But I got tanks here, so I don't really have to worry about that. But you guys know what I mean, right? You got wall break potential. You got to think of your injured infantry as blockers, but also as wall breakers. That's the most important thing you can do. All right, so this turn I do a nice little attack, actually. So we're going to go back and we're just going to take a look at that. So he moves up and he's starting to cap this property right here. And I'm like, well, you know, Clone Andy doesn't want to lose his properties, you know, so I initiate the sequence. And I move it. Now, I'm using the tanks to move in to attack the infantry first because I am not guaranteed, once again, to get to KO. Right? But tank plus infantry is pretty much guaranteed to always get to KO. Because tank will always hit above 50%. Like, even if just moderately. But with that, plus another infantry strike, guaranteed KO. So that's how you can kind of work around the whole, like, not having a comm tower thing. You know, if you attack with a vehicle first, attack with infantry second, you are guaranteed to get that kill. But you also have to be careful because that puts your vehicles into the danger zone. The danger zone. Because if a guy is going up and capping one of your properties, you can 100% guarantee that he's got that. He's got this. He's got this right there, right behind him. So dangerous stuff, folks. Dangerous stuff. You gotta do what you can, but you can't be super dangerous. But this is okay because if he goes up and attacks this, I got the medium tank here. I got an artillery right behind. Got a battlecopter right here. So it's not bad. And I have hyper repair, right? Okay, so gets the heal on one of his infantry. Sacrifices it to do a little bit of damage here. Pops the power. She's got the power, the coal power. She's got the coal power going, which is nice. Because that infantry actually takes this guy down to 6. So technically, I believe that 1 infantry should KO this. It might be a little bit of a luck roll, but it should come very close. And he actually senses some weakness on the south here. So he's going up and taking some shots south. And actually does pretty good damage to a lot of my units here. And goes up and actually finds a way to strike my artillery, which is pretty devastating. Now, yeah, cool. So that's what I thought. It was going to be a one-shot. Because Adder does actually have 110% firepower right now due to the power. So definitely a good attack, you know. Okay, so Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. I was feeling pretty good about this game. And then I show up on day 15 and I see a big stinky Neo tank up here. A base skip stinky Neo tank actually. So yeah, I wasn't feeling that. Wasn't feeling that at all, guys. But that was a good push, you know? As we can see here, last turn I was up to 41 units. JJ was down to 33. I did manage to get like quite a few KOs on him, but then boom, he pops up, takes me all the way down to 33, and he's sitting up at 34. Quite a bit of value difference right now too. And right now I'm approximately like 18,000 overcharged. So that's 18,000 that I can't take on to the next co-power, right? So my turn, pop the hyper repair. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, boom. Beautiful. So I take that back up to 115. So we were 146, take it up to 115. So not like a significantly large amount, but there's a lot of frontline units here that managed to get healed up. And we do have a 10% firepower bonus right now. So I'm gonna do what I can with that. So he's got a battlecopter here, he's got an anti-air here, but I need to go in for the attack. You know, it's like we're gonna be sacrificing a battlecopter regardless. But there's too much potential here for an attack to not want to sacrifice it. So we do have to sacrifice it. We go in and we move it. Move it into position, attack the tank with it, attack with the artillery over here, doing a big old shot. Big old shot. And actually get a nice little roll there. So bring the other artillery back, use one of these tanks over here, take out that guy. So now I got a pretty good 2-shot on this guy here. And I'm thinking that it's probably possible, but we'll see. So I bring the medium tank up, strike down this guy. And then I'm doing what I can with these 7 HP tanks that are on the front line. But I do got a lot of fresh tanks that are able to strike too. Alright, so take a strike down there, get a heal right here too. So I go, okay, so alright, so we went in with like a full HP tank. We got this guy down to 4. This was like a roll, I think it was like anywhere between like 33 to 37, so I was like, okay, like he already took 1 damage, I did another attack. It's pretty likely that maybe I'll be able to take it out, and we can't take it out. So we don't got the luck there today, folks. Unfortunately. So after that, build a battlecopter, tank, 2 medium tanks on the field right now, so it's okay. So I managed to take out, I took out 4 units. 4 units in total that time, but I injured a bunch of units, so it's like, it's okay. It's like not like super terrible. But he does launch a pretty good counter attack here. And because I don't have because I just used my power, I'm not getting any charge for any of these attacks too. Which I think is going to be one of the biggest flaws for Clone Andy if he does actually manage to get on the site. The fact that he's going to have absolutely no overcharge for his co-power is going to have to make you play him a lot safer when it comes to these engagements. Because, I mean, if you get counterattacked and you lose your entire army, well, then you have no army to build up more power charge. You know, it's gonna be kind of tough. It's gonna be kind of tough. But if you get into this like area where you're like well over 100,000, you know, it's not gonna be too bad because you will still get a power. It's just gonna take a little bit longer. Now he does 2 nice attacks down here. Takes both of these guys down to 4. I was feeling kind of a little bit rough about that. Doesn't go up and attack my medium tank though, which is probably a smart idea. The engagement with medium tank versus medium tank on a city would end up not really being an adder's favor. Okay, so once again, guys, so I'm at 18,850 overcharge right now. So I'm gonna have to charge this meter up to pretty close to like 50,000, like a little over 50,000, like 50,000 and change if I want to use another co-power. But this turn is okay because I see like a couple like nice attacks here. So let's focus on the south here for a second. So we have like an 8 HP unit right here, and 4 HP, and a 5 HP, and a 2 HP right here. So I'm trying to think about like, okay, this is like kind of bad. Like if I leave these guys here, well then it's gonna be bad, right? But if I don't bring stuff up here, well, it's going to be bad because I have to deal with a stinky Neo tank and a classy medium tank. And I only have 2 classy medium tanks. So they are super classy, but still a force to be reckoned with. So I do a nice little attack here. So 5 HP takes out this guy, right? Or full HP takes out this, what was it, like a 5 HP? 5 HP tank, yeah. And then I use these 2 injured guys to actually take this guy all the way down to 3. Get a luck roll, take him down to 1. So I use 2 super injured tanks to finish off this guy. So the tank threat down south is gone now, so I don't really got to worry about that. Now up north I have to really watch what I'm going to do because, like I said, I'm still pretty far away from power charge. Now if Clone Andy was allowed to have overcharge right now, like imagine popping another co-power and all these like 6 HP units get healed up to like 8. Like imagine how devastating the attack would be on this front line, because I would have absolutely like no problem going up and attacking that front line. But in the situation that I'm in right now, I don't feel like super confident doing it. But I do decimate the south side, so yeah, I was feeling pretty good about that. South does not really have like a whole lot going for it at the moment. So yeah, we managed to take that out. JJ's sitting all the way down to 22 units right now, so I did manage to do like a hefty amount of damage here. And I think I have enough units up here to hold. So this shouldn't really be too much of an issue because he could move in and attack, and I'm not gonna lie, he can do a very, very devastating attack. But I built another medium tank, so now I got 3 hefty boys up here, and he's got some potential here. So we'll see what he does. So he pops a Sidewinder. This is another super co-powers plus 2 movement. Loops around, attacks my artillery, attacks the tank, brings his infantry back, double shots of this tank. Neo tank moves in. Oh boy, that was a pretty hefty attack right there. Takes my classy boy all the way down to 3, but then he resigns. Now actually, in all reality, I think this is probably a very good moment to resign. There's not really, while this attack was good, there's too much potential for counterattack at the moment. So yeah, and Clone Andy is gonna he's gonna win this engagement right here. So I'm actually gonna pop over onto the site and go into the move planner. I'm just gonna show you kind of like what I was thinking for this turn here. Yeah, so we're back here at the move planner, guys, and I just looked at my co-power charge, and actually I have a full power bar meter. So I will definitely get a hyper repair this turn. So we're just gonna try to think about what we would do in this situation, because for one thing, we have to deal with the medium tank, right? Or the Neo tank. That's like definitely problem number 1 that we need to deal with. So let's see what we can do here. So if we take a look at our damage calculator and do a little look here. So if we have a 9 HP artillery, we will do 25 to 31% damage against this guy here. So I think that's okay. That's not like super terrible. But I don't think that's what we really want to start with. I think what we want to start with is a move like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is what I think that I would want to start with for this battle, right? So check this out. So move the medium tank onto the city, and we do an attack right here. So we do 51 or 44 to 51%. So let's be conservative here. So we're gonna low roll everything, right? So we do that, and then this guy's gonna take 2 damage counter. So we got this guy down to 6, which is pretty good. Oh yeah, we also have to account for heals, natural heals, natural heals, natural heals. Is that all the natural heals? I think that's all the natural heals. So yeah, that's feeling okay. So we do that. And then I think our next move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, you know what? Actually, even better than that. Let's set this guy back to 10. We're gonna set this guy back to 10. So like even better of a situation, I think, right? So we don't really have anything else really to attack with the battlecopter. And like these tanks are like, you know, they're pesky, but this medium tank is peskier. So we're gonna go around. We're gonna loop around, right? And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna attack the medium tank with the battle copter, right? So this guy takes it down to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we do an attack with the medium tank onto the 8 HP medium tank. That takes it to 45 to 52. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we do that. So that's the first 2 moves that we do. And this guy gets taken down to like 9. This guy might get, let's say he gets lucky, right? Takes it to 8. So that's okay. And then at that point, I think what I would do is now I would apply the power. So I apply the power, and then we have a 5 HP medium tank. So this guy, 1, 2, 3, he'd move right there. So we got a co-power powered medium tank versus this guy. I would take this all the way down to 1. So that's okay. So then our next move, I believe, would be this right here. So we do co-power powered artillery, and we would attack this neo tank on the forest. And we would take this guy down by 3 HP. So it's 31 to 38. So you can roughly say on average you probably do like 35% or something like that, you know. But then I move the medium tank down. Boom. Take this. Boom. Against this. Apply the power. This guy would get taken down to like 2, right? And then we wait that guy. Oh no, not unwait, but we wait. Wait, there we go. So yeah, between those attacks right there, I mean that's pretty like devastating on its own. But yeah, I mean we still have to contend with all these tanks, right? But just that move alone takes out the 2 frontliners out of the game, right? So that's like super important. And then like let's say this guy just like waits, removes this guy would like run away or something, right? But this guy would probably move up. I don't know, he might sit on like, let's say he just sits down there or something, right? And this guy might run away. But then we have all this stuff, right? So we can do that, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say this guy just moves here because he's gonna get a heal. And then I don't know, like he just, at that point it really just doesn't matter. Just move the rest of them like wherever they can go. Oh, that guy doesn't go there. You could probably start a cap here too, you know? You get a little cap going. You could even do that, and you can even do this to surround the cap, so you're probably more likely to be guaranteed to get the cap. I don't remember if I healed that guy or not. I think I did. But then you like move these guys up here, right? And you just do that, blah blah blah. And you do that, and then you just flip and pop another medium tank into the fray. And then that's it. That's all you would have to do. So you take out like all those guys in the front line. You know, you still got the tanks available, but you know, feeling okay. I would feel okay if that's how the turn went. You know, it's not too bad. So we don't do any damage to the tanks, but we do heavy damage to the medium tank and the neo tank. And I don't know, maybe with like proper luck, we might even get to KOs, right? But we'll never know. We'll never know. Until next time. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Once again, I'll put the link for the petition to get Clone Andy added. If you guys want to add your signature to it, it'll be in the link in the description below. Let's get Clone Andy on Advanced Wars by Web, folks. It's going to be a wonderful time. Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye for now.